Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Figma Pocket Monsters Red figure, or Pokemon Red, which is interesting because if they're making red, maybe we're going to get more. I'd be very excited to see that, mostly because they did a really good job with this figure, but also because Pokemon's awesome, and why not? I am curious though if the one that releases in the US is going to say Pokemon instead of Pocket Monsters. Very interesting. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, this is a pretty cool figure. I know we just looked at Ash or Satoshi and Team Rocket not that long ago from SH Figure Arts. So let's see how Figma did. So let's go ahead and take him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about to the top of the hat, about 5 1/8 inches tall, which makes him just about 13 centimeters. Pretty darn close to that. It's a very basic figure. There's not a whole lot of shading on it, which is standard for Figma, so no big deal there. But you know what? They did a pretty good job. Most of it's done really well. The paintwork's clean as usual. No problems there. We do have one issue with the design, but we'll get to that in terms of articulation. So first, let's talk about accessories. We do have two different faces. We have the neutral face, which comes on him in the package. Then we have the yelling face, both of which look very, very nice. They're very well done. We have the two fist hands that came on him in the package. We have one style pose hand meant for him reaching up and grabbing his hat. We have one pointing finger hand so that he can point at a Pokemon and say, "I'm going to Pokeball your ass." We have one set of gripping hands, which I'm not really sure what they're for, but we do have those. We have two different Pokeball holding hands, one for him throwing it and then one for him just kind of holding it casually. And then we have two wide open finger type hands. We do of course have a Pokeball, which is done very nicely, which is a nice thing because we didn't get that with SH Figure Arts. It was sculpted into the hand. This time we have an actual accessory, which is just awesome. We do have his backpack, which has a peg for going into his back and also a peg hole, two different peg holes for the display stand, so that's pretty cool. We have a Bulbasaur, we have a Squirtle, and a Charmander. They are not articulated at all. They're painted well enough. Squirtle might be just a tinge too green, but either way, they all look really good. And we do have the display stand, so a nice batch of accessories. If you were lucky enough to live in a country where they were able to sell it, you could get a version of this where it also came with a Pikachu. Unfortunately, they wouldn't sell that here in the US, so maybe I'll be able to track that down, but I don't have it. Anyway, as far as the articulation goes, it works pretty well. We have standard Figma neck joint, so you can pretty much get any range you want out of it. None of that issue of it being like really just tall and goofy looking. It's no problem really. The hair does get in the way a little bit, so you can kind of, it's offset, so you can kind of adjust the head to account for the hair, which is a pretty cool design. I think they did a good job with that. For the shoulders, it's just your standard ball peg that connects it to the body with the ball hinge on the outside. Pretty good range, not the most, but I think it's definitely going to be good enough. And then of course you do have your bicep swivel. So that's built in. It's not the most, but it's pretty good. They did a good job of making that tuck in. You can see the shirt is split and soft material there, so it won't get in the way too much. Single jointed elbow, just a little bit better than 90 degrees. And then the wrists are on little tiny ball hinges. If I can swap the hand off, there you go. Little tiny ball hinge, very, very tiny. So be a little bit extra careful with that. And here we have one of the issues with this figure that I'm not real pleased with. I don't know why they did this. They made the bottom part, and I get that the shirt is flaring out, so you want the bigger part to tuck, or the smaller part to tuck into the bigger part. But the way they made it all one piece like this, I just don't really get it, especially since it doesn't really offer that much. Like, you can't really pose him too much with it. So they should have just made it all one piece, or made it a proper diaphragm joint. This doesn't accomplish anything. He's almost impossible to pose in the torso. So having this big goofy seam here just doesn't make any sense at all. I don't get that. It had to have made it more expensive, and it just doesn't look good. You get almost no range out of it, so it's really not worth it. The payoff is not there. It's not a deal breaker by any means, because there is wrinkling going on that kind of hides it, but it's just a really odd design choice. I don't get that. It doesn't add anything, really. You're mostly going to be posing him down here at the ball peg for the waist, which works just fine. It's wonderful. So why they did that, I'll never know. The hips are standard Figma hips, but look at that. Really good range all the way out to the side. No problems at all. Aesthetically pleasing. You can bring them forward pretty far. They start to go off to the side at an angle a little bit, but still Really good range. You do have the ability to move them forward and back just a little bit since it's on that 3-way ball peg. We have a thigh swivel built in, which works nicely. Single jointed knees. Not the best design in the world, but definitely good enough. I mean, it doesn't look bad, and it got a little bit better than 90 degrees, so that's okay. Then for the ankles, it's a ball peg, ball hinge combo. It's a little tricky to get that ball hinge to actually do anything, but you can use it as an ankle rocker or just a hinge. Of course, the pants limit it to some degree, but if you pop the foot out completely and then move it and then stick it back in, you'll be okay. And then you do have a minimal toe hinge, which is okay. So it's not by any means a particularly impressive figure, but it's definitely good enough. It's definitely aesthetically pleasing, so that's good. And I think that's pretty much all you're going to really need for this guy. He doesn't need to be in the most crazy of poses. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. You can't go wrong with another solid Pokemon release. So hopefully Figma continues the line with maybe green or who knows, maybe all of the gym leaders. That'd be cool. I'd be totally down for that. That'd be awesome. Well, let me know what you guys think. Let me know. You know what? Let's do a little fun thing. Also, if you're into Pokemon, which you might be if you're watching this, let me know which one is your favorite Pokemon in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you come back for that. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. And in the meantime, keep collecting.